Hey guys, welcome back. This is my grandfather's axe head. It is not his handle because his handle broke and I rehandled it with this one, and now this one is broken and I will do it again and I will do it better. This is the original shape of the handle that was on the axe. It's an incredible axe handle shape. I've never felt a better one ever. The head shape is just amazing. I don't know how old it is. The only clue I have is it says Homestead on the side. I don't know if Homestead's a brand, a style, what, but it is a very old axe. It is a very cool axe, and I will be happy to make another handle for it because I did a crummy job when I was 13 when I made this first one. This is what we're going to use. This is a piece of hickory that I cut from a branch that I trimmed when cutting a trail. It's got a couple problems with it. A few small knots. This one also has knots. The crack never cracked. That was a drying crack. It's got 2 knots in it actually. Several cracks. They never cracked. It was at the head. Some design issues and some pretty bad misses caused that to happen. So the head is still not loose. It's very dense because it is a branch piece, because it is so small. It's actually much denser than hickory normally is, so it's actually a very good piece of hickory. And we're going to see if we can actually run it through the planer as is. I may have to use the joiner first. We have some humongous core cracks. How deep it goes is a big question. It's obviously quite difficult to see it. It may not go too deep. If it only goes down like a 1/4 inch, we still have enough material to work with there. I'm not sure how I'm going to find that out. Down about a 1/4 inch, and it's almost gone. It's right on the edge, but we may just have enough wood to do it. To get this head off, should be able to just slice it off and then knock it out from the other side. We'll see. This piece of wood was cut with a bandsaw, so it just went through the grain. There's no connection between the grain and the way it was cut. But the piece we're going to work with now is actually split. That means it's actually following the grain. And because it's following the grain, it should be very unlikely that it will split. It can't really. It won't split off at least. You can crack along it, but it's pretty unlikely either way. When they make this hole, when they forge the heads, if it's a forged head, it's done from the top, so the hole is bigger at the top than it is at the bottom. So with this wedge shape of the handle, when you put the wedge in, it makes it so the head cannot come off, but if you cut it from the bottom and push it that way, it can come off. Okay, look at the crack. It never actually made it all the way up the head. All the swinging, chopping, and splitting I did with this thing, that crack never made it all the way through that head. Not going to be too much worry about the cracks, actually. Shockingly, I know I should be freaked out about the cracks, and I should never want to use this piece, and I should get a new one. But I'm not going to. I don't really care that much. So we're going to keep on planing it. I'm going to plane on this side a couple times to get rid of the stuff that I really don't want in my handle. And then we're going to go on this side and try to get rid of those cracks. So now we have a head and a handle, and we have to make this fit this. How are we going to do that? Normally, when I shape handles, I use a belt sander. Belt sander's right there. I don't know if you can see that in the angle, but belt sander's amazing for shaping handles. You have so much control, but this feels a little bit sacrilegious to use a belt sander on this. I may end up doing it anyway, but I think a draw knife, which is what I shaped the original with, is going to be much better. But to use a draw knife, I don't remember how I used it last time, but really you need a draw knife horse or a draw horse. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, it's really handy when you're using a draw knife on stuff like this. I think I'm going to look up how to make one first, maybe watch some YouTube videos, and then I'll make one, and you can watch me, and then I'll make the handle. This is probably gonna be a separate video. So I'll be back later when this thing is done, and I'm gonna make this into a separate video, probably from a different intro. Anyway, I'll see you when this thing's done, and I'll be working back on the axe. Okay? So the shaving horse is done, and now I'm gonna be working on the axe, and I'm back. With this beautiful shaving horse, isn't that beautiful? First, we're gonna do some shaving. This thing is very squeaky, so it's gonna be making a lot of noise over here. Anyway. Wow, hickory's harder than pine. This will be a lot better. Less flex. Okay, so I know it's a problem. I keep slipping off of the seat, and I can't push very hard without slipping off. So I'm gonna drill. I can push really hard without slipping off. Okay, so now we are shaped out. Pencil. So, one word of advice, words from the wise, obviously, is get a piece of wood with no knots in it, because the knots make it a whole lot harder to use a draw knife on. And get a rough guideline here. Okay, so I took this main part, the shaft, up to 400 grit. This part's at 220, is a little bit more grip. You can feel it, it's nice. This hand's not gonna move. This hand's gonna move when I split, or when anyone splits, left-handed or right-handed. It looks pretty good right now. I'm gonna get it wet and raise the grain up, and then I'm gonna sand it again, 220, 400, and then we're gonna oil it. No, then we're gonna put the head on. Doing this makes all that grain, just the bits of fiber that are pushed down, not actually cut off, they all come up when they get wet and they expand. You sand it back down and mostly they get cut. You should do it a couple times. This is an axe, so I'm not gonna do it once, and I pretty much always want to do it once. So once I sand it again, it'll stay that way. While we're waiting for that to fully dry, we can look at the different shapes we've had here. This is the original handle that was on it when I got it. I think it is hickory, that looks kind of oak-like, but I think it's hickory. This is the one I put on it, so that's comparing my chew. This one's obviously older, so it's much darker. I like how this one gets thicker at the end, honestly. That's actually kind of cool. Where it broke, it was quite a bit smaller. The old one looks like it's literally just the width it needed to be, and flattened and routed after they cut the shape out. Not very fanciful at all. I obviously went a good bit more fanciful on the end of mine. I almost wish I hadn't now, because I kind of like how this one looks. I like how this one looks, but anyway. Overall, I think this is going to be a much better handle. Look at the ends here too. This is obviously very different. Old one, newer one that I did, and then the one I'm doing right now. I much prefer this one. And right now, you could probably swing it a couple times without it coming off, without a wedge. I'm gonna make a wedge top. This is a piece of zebra wood, by the way. It's not incredibly decorative, but it looks pretty cool on the end grain. And that was a beautiful split. Look at that grain. That's something right there. Anyway. Just type them on 3. Waterproof, which for an axe is something to consider. Alright. Set. We're gonna see. I'm gonna bang on the back, okay? And you tell me if the wedge actually goes in at all. I heard you can do this at least. Scratch that idea. Okay, when I do my symbol, I usually sketch it first. My symbol's CRI, by the way. CR for Kay the Bray. You don't need to know the last part. That's a rough guideline. As you can tell, pyrography is not my strong suit. Top of the eye. Alright, there we go. CRI 2023 looks pretty bad, but it's alright. I do want to dress this head a little bit. It's not supposed to be mushroomed like that at all. That's a good bit better. I'd have to remove quite a bit more material because it's upset almost 1/4 inch or more in. I don't really want to file that much off. It looks pretty good now. I kind of like how that looks. It's better than it was. It wasn't a problem, I just didn't like how it looked. And my favorite thing for this is Thompson's Water Seal. It's an outdoor sealer. It's like for decks and deck furniture, things like that. But it works great on tool handles, and I have it on pretty much all of my tool handles, including this one right before you. Color in that steel. Beautiful. Nice.
So that is how to rehandle your grandfather's axe, if that is what I call this video. If it's not what I call this video, that is how to rehandle an axe of any kind, any breed, any sort. Pretty much it's the same. The name of the game is get a piece without any knots in it with super straight grain and make sure you're parallel with the grain. Make sure it's a good head that's actually worth rehandling, for one thing. Do a good job, have fun doing it, and if you like this video, you should subscribe and hit the notification button so you can see all my new videos coming out. A lot of them are very similar to this one. A lot of, me building stuff and messing around and being a dork. Anyway, if you liked it, subscribe. If you didn't like it, don't subscribe, but don't dislike the video. I just put that in your head, now you're gonna do it. I can see it, you're gonna hit it, you're gonna hit the dislike button. Anyway, if you like this video, like it, comment on it, subscribe, and as always, I will see you in the next one.